Politician, it's good to see you again. It's been so long since.
Good morning, the 8th of September 2023. Beatrice Adamuiji is my name, and you are tuned to Unity 93.3 FM this morning. And of course, Unity TV. And so thank you, our listener, and of course, our viewer. I have in the studio of Unity 93.3 FM this morning an in-house analyst and political scientist. He is Mr. Shuaibu Doro, and together we'll be doing this to the very end. And it's lovely to have you already. So if you don't mind, I'll let Shuaibu Doro to say another big good morning there to our viewer and our listener.
Well, first of all, good morning to you. Could be it's a beautiful Friday morning, and of course you're looking smashing in your in your blue suit and the white shirt to actually contrast. It's a beautiful combination. And good morning, viewer and listener. Thank you for staying tuned to Unity FM and TV. We look forward to an interesting interface as usual. Happy Jum'ah, and you're welcome.
Yes, happy Jummah. And of course, life has a lot to offer, and you don't have full control of what life brings around. But of course, I'm sure you have all of the time to decide what to do with all of what life brings around you. And I trust, as Nigerians, we would forever remain patriotic, and we would always be one of those who will say something to make things happen in a way it should be, to have a greater Nigeria. Not only Nigeria, but of course a greater united Africa. And so this morning we begin the segment of Unity Train with the usual step, and of course it's newspaper review. And on our newspaper review this morning, oh my, I bet you want to hear what we have. And I begin with this one on the Vanguard. It says, Wike begins mobilization to throw Atiku Tambuwal out of PDP. That is it. So I'll let Shaibu to begin to give it to us as he feels best.
Yeah, well, that's a very funny one, isn't it? Because anytime it has to do with Wike, of course, you know what to expect could be, And if you ask me, I would say that at the moment, I think Wike is the funniest and the most comic, dramatist persona that we have in Nigeria's
politician,
political theater. Seriously, if you ask me, because in fact, sometimes I say it's probably our own Nigerian version of Donald Trump. It's very, very controversial figure and all of that. But of course, like I always say, you must give it to Wike because, he is a very proactive and pragmatic, politician. And if you look at, the legacies he left in River State when he held sway as governor, you can't help but actually, give it to him and all. And I'm sure that's probably what gives him the impetus, the audacity to be able to, make some of these comments and engage in some of these controversies here and there, and all of that. Of course, you can't write PDP's history without Wike. You understand?
Especially at this particular point in time.
Especially at this particular point in time. He's in the AP. I mean, he is in an APC government, but I think he has maintained, his stance that, he has reiterated, repeatedly that, despite being a part of an APC government. He's still a PDP, faithful, and things like that. And if he can actually abide by that, I think. For me, it will be quite commendable, this is
to have full-fledged
PDP person in an APC government. I think that will be commendable, because he will actually, well, how possible or otherwise that is, it remains to be seen, especially again when you look at some of the, some of the things he's doing, his body language lately, some of his utterances against the PDP and things like that. The headline is that he's beginning. Wike has begun mobilization to kick Atiku and Tambuwal out.
While other political
PDP,
parties are trying to bring in
like
people,
this
but
is the
for Wike and PDP,
this is the issue. And so the question is, what's the story? What's going on? What's happening between Wike and Atiku and Tambuwal?
The story.
And all of that. Our viewer and listener would like to know. Now, of course, I think it goes way back, right? The battle between Atiku Abubakar and Wike, Nyesom Wike, is something that actually has a very rich history. This is the issue. But first of all, like I did say, Tinubu is a very, very controversial politician. I'm yet to see one person with whom Wike has not actually had an axe to grind and things like that. First of all, of course, you may recall that Rotimi Amechi, when he was governor of Rivers State in 2007, actually appointed Nyesom Wike as a chief of staff, and then in 2011 he was made minister of State for Education, and then in 2013 or thereabout he was promoted to a federal minister of education and things like that, and then he came to became governor of Rivers State in 2015, succeeding his erstwhile boss and political godfather in the person of Rotimi Amechi. But of course we all know how it turned out between Rotimi Amechi and Nyesom Wike, his godson, and all of that. In 2014 or thereabout, then Governor Rotimi Amechi decided to join the opposition APC. It was something that didn't go down well, with Nyesom Wike. At some point in an interview, when he was asked, what was actually the root cause of the face-off between him and Rotimi Amechi, he did say that it was actually because of Rotimi's decision to dump the PDP for the APC, a party that had actually brought him to the limelight and things like. He even mentioned that since 1967, when Rivers State was created, it had never played opposition politics. It had always been historically a traditional PDP stronghold and things like that. So he found it quite unfathomable that Rotimi Amechi decided to dump the APC, the PDP for the APC, and that was the beginning of the animosity or the political rivalry between him and Rotimi Amechi, which I can actually say has actually lasted till date and things like that. That is on just one hand, and then again, of course, in the build up to the presidential election in 2023. At some point, Nyesom Wike nurtured a presidential ambition. He junketed around the country to convert support for himself and things like that. But apparently, the PDP was looking for, somebody with a bigger political stature, somebody with a bigger watchers who could withstand, beautiful, somebody beautiful, somebody who could withstand, the APC, which had actually, had presented, Tinubu, as flag bearer and things like that. This is the issue. So for that reason, Atiku Abubakar was actually, given the nod, over Nyesom Wike. It was a decision he didn't like, but then of course he decided to settle for something different. When of course it didn't work out in that particular when that particular aspiration did not work out, because of internal party issues and things like that, he decided to settle for maybe the vice presidential slot and things like that, which also eventually didn't work out for Nyesom Wike. This is the issue, and so I think because of those internal party issues and what have you, the relationship between Wike and the PDP, specifically, Atiku Abubakar and by extension the PDP, actually began to hit the rocks. This is the issue. But of course, there was something that happened, which I'm sure Nigerians, are quite aware of. At some point, Nyesom Wike did say that his presidential ambition didn't work, fine. His vice presidential ambition didn't work, fine. But then, being somebody from the South, he would love a situation where the national chairman of the PDP would actually come from the South, since the presidential candidate or flag bearer was actually from the North, so that the party could be given a semblance of balance, and things like that. But of course, the PDP didn't do that.
You see, sorry, you continue. You see, both Atiku, Tambuwal and Atiku, these are political gladiators that we have on the north.
They are.
So now, don't you think it's becoming like a fight between the Wike and the north? something like that.
Yeah, well, even if we look at it that way, I think it will not be far from the truth. You understand? It could even make some sense to look at it that way, because, like I was trying to say, Wiki did say that he would like a situation where the national chairman of the APC was going to be, the PDP, sorry, was going to come from the south, but the PDP did not do that. So as a result of that, we had the national chairman coming from the from the northern part of the country, Benue State, specifically, Ayocha Ayu, Senator Ayocha Ayu, and then, of course, the presidential candidate also from the northern part of the country. And so, Wike saw that, as some sort of an onslaught, as a sort of, affront to the south and all of that. For him, it was an attempt or a ploy to sort of silence, or muzzle, or marginalize the South, and in the scheme of things, and all of that. And for that reason, he declared war against Atiku Abubakar and, of course, the PDP by extension. And the result of that, was the embarrassing defeat that the PDP suffered in the presidential election. Nyesom Wike, literally ensured that the PDP did not win River State and things like, these are some of the controversies. And now, he's actually saying that because of the injustices that Atiku Abubakar and his campaign director, former governor Aminu Tambuwal, because of the injustices, according to Wiki, because of the injustices they have perpetrated against the PDP, and its thousands of adherents, they deserve to actually be suspended, by the party and things like that. These are the issues. But of course, it remains to be seen. And my problem here could be is that I don't know how this whole thing is going to play out, because PDP, at some point, Nyesom Wike had berated, Rotimi Amechi, you understand, for dumping the PDP, a party that had brought him to the limelight for the APC.
Yes.
This is the issue. And he has reiterated repeatedly that he is still a PDP loyalist. And during an interview with Shewin Akimbaloye on Channels TV, he was asked, whether he's, being a part and parcel of an APC-led administration could actually, incur the wrath of the APC as a party to which he belongs. And then he actually,
PDP, yes.
Boldly and then he boldly said, well, he is yet to see, anybody in the PDP who could actually, actually sack him from the party, suspend him, or anything of that nature. But my question here is this. With these sort of utterances and with these sorts of repeated fights, with certain stakeholders in the PDP, it could give the impression that he probably, because like the HAUSA person will say, when a dog actually sniffs at a pair of shoes, he's about to take it and things like that. So it remains to be seen. But I think it seems to appear that his romance, with the APC, seems to be taking a toll on his loyalty, to the PDP and things like that. It remains to be seen how all of this, plays out.
Yes, of course. We have this one also. Let's just go quickly because, time also. We have this one from the Nations. It says, I run for president to fix leadership deficits. This one is created to Tinubu. Now, talking about leadership deficits. Now, Tinubu has been leader for many times, and there hasn't been any time in the history of his leadership that it was, having to do without leadership. He has been leader all through his time.
Yes.
And so if he is back, he is now a president to fix leadership deficits, then I'm beginning to wonder who made it that position deficit, and now you want to fix it. And I'm beginning to think also, people have been saying the very people who would mess up leadership will be the very one coming back to want to fix it. How true is that, and how certain is it that they can fix it? Is another thing to also.
Well, I think we could give President Tinubu the benefit of the doubt, although we're still angry that he has had to take certain economic policies, certain economic decisions that are have subjected us to avoidable hardships and things like that, and he has continued to promise a quick turnaround and all of that. We are looking forward to that with our eyes wide open and our fingers crossed and all of that. We pray that God makes it possible for him to do that. But again, I think if we're talking about messing up Nigeria and all of that, I do not feel that Tinubu should share part of the blame, because I think this is the first time he's had an opportunity to preside over the affairs of the geographical entity called Nigeria and all of that. And of course, I mean, we all know what happened in Lagos when he held sway as governor for 8 years, and all of that. He was able to rewrite the history, of Lagos State and lay a solid foundation, for the state, and I think, I could make bold to say that even those who actually succeeded Tinubu, when he left office as governor of Lagos State, have actually been, following the template, the template, the roadmap that Tinubu, actually designed for Lagos State and things like that. And so, if we were to assess or judge or evaluate or appraise Tinubu on the basis of his legacy, as far as Lagos is concerned, we could say that he had actually paid his dues and things like that. But of course, he's just had, he's just been given the opportunity to preside over, the affairs of Nigeria, and it remains to be seen what he does. The president did say that he has taken over power to actually fix Nigeria and address leadership deficit and all of that. He said this at the the G20 summit, yes, in New Delhi, India, and all of that. And so we will take him on that, and then in the next 1, 2, 3 years, we will hold him to task and see what he does in that regard. I always say that leadership goes beyond rhetorics, and this is the issue. All those that have actually presided over the affairs of Nigeria from 1999 till date have said the same thing. Right, Obasanjo said the same thing, Yar'Adua said the same thing, President Buhari said the same thing. But you and I know that his 8 years, in power, between 2015 and 2023, actually left so much to be desired, and all of that. So it remains to be seen. But I think that as a sort of a free consultancy, as a free piece of advice to President Tinubu, fixing a country like Nigeria. Somebody did say that Nigeria is like a broken down vehicle. You fix one part, the other part, breaks down. You fix the brakes, and then the carburetor develops a fault. You fix the tires, and then the exhaust develops a fault, and things like that. But there are things I think at the moment that can and should be addressed to be able to set the ball rolling, and things like that. For example, he will need to address the issue of national unity. Be able to.
Are you seeing that already? Are you seeing the issue of Bola Tinubu addressing the issue of national unity, bringing Wike into his cabinet?
I see that. Although the question also would be whether bringing Tinubu on board, actually incorporating him into his cabinet might just be a compensatory. It might just be a reward, for delivering River State, and it remains to be seen.
It has an underline for national unity.
This is the issue. But again, whichever way you look at it, I think it's a good thing that we have an opposition member in an APC-led government and things like that.
The question remains,
if you look at the composition of the appointments and things, some people would say that it is Yoruba-centric and all of that, but you can't take that out as far as Nigeria is concerned. We also, all the sort of people that presided over the country's security formations when President Buhari held sway and all of that. So I think those sort of primordial considerations are things you can't rule out as far as Nigeria is concerned. But I think that to be able to set the ball rolling and reverse some of these deficit and all of that, Tinubu at the moment will need to address issues of national unity, will need to attract foreign investment to create a sort of cordial economic relations with other parts of the world, and then create job opportunities for young people, ensure capital accumulation within the national economy and all of those issues. I'm glad that he was able to meet with Prakash Hinduja, chairman of the Hinduja groups, one of the biggest companies in India, and he is the chairman of the group. Prakash Hinduja has promised to consider the possibility of setting up an automobile company in Nigeria and things like that. If the president could pull that off, I think we'll give it to him. And then of course there are issues that have to do with insecurity, and all of that. If he could actually do something to address the lingering security problems in the country and reduce poverty, bring people together, attract foreign investment, and all of those issues, I think that he will be good to go.
Doro, I think away from politics now. Yes. Let's see this one on Daily Trust. It says troops arrested 1,326 in 3 months defense headquarters. Now, back to security. You earlier on mentioned the issue of if Tinubu would attract foreign investors, he would have to provide the enabling environment, and that is to say there has to be certainty about the security in this nation.
Definitely.
So what have you to, let's just look at this in the next 5 minutes. So
well, our guest is handsomely seated, so
it's
okay. We have to give him.
Of course, I will introduce him later.
Now, I think it's a good one that the security agencies are doing the best they can to rid the country of some of these existential security issues and all of that. Of course, no society has ever been 100% insecurity free or 100% secure and all of that. Even the so-called developed climes also have had to contend with some of these issues and all of that. In the United States, successive governments have always tried to see what they can do to control guns and things like that, proliferation of guns and things like that. So yeah, it's all over the place. I think it's a global phenomenon. But again, there is something we can do. Yeah, there's always something we can do to actually reduce the problem to the barest minimum. This is the issue. These operations, Operation Hadarindaji, Operation Hadinkei, Operation World Stroke, Operation Safe Haven in the North Central, Operation Delta Safe in the South, and all of that have actually, I think, in the last 3 months, actually made a statement, that they actually do mean business, and that they're ready to ensure that some of these existential security threats, are actually flushed out and things like that. And I think that is it's heartwarming that we actually have these stories. The story has it that 326 stories have been 817 stories have been neutralized. 326 721 hostages have been rescued. 42 kidnappers also neutralized. 221 accomplices neutralized. 33 armed robbers arrested. 80 cattle rustlers also neutralized. 325 militias, 27 rail vandals, 73 gun runners, 191 suspected thieves, and all of that. And of course, 4,560 terrorists, and their families have surrendered to the troops, and all of that. So I think it's heartwarming that we are having, this development, and that happened just in the last 3 months. This is the issue. So we hope that we'll be able to see much more of this, going forward. But of course, I think. As usual, there are, I think, structural, challenges that the security architecture will need to address to be able to, wage an all-out war against, some of these anti-state actors and things like that. For example, there's a need for, logistics, and things like that. Some of the, personnel on field, operations will always confess that. Sometimes they run out of bullets, or they run out of ammunition. They have guns that are inferior to those, possessed by, anti-state groups and things like that. I think there's a need to do something about that. Of course, there have also been allegations of, systemic corruption within the security architecture and things like that. In 2015, then Vice President Yemi Osinbajo did confess that, Nigeria had lost, that about, I think, $15 billion, of, security votes had been diverted, through corrupt practices and things like that. I think these are issues that actually need to be looked at. And of course, if you have, corrupt tendencies within the security, architecture, it then actually means that you can't purchase logistics, you can't take care of the welfare, of, personnel, and all of those issues. These are some of them. And then, of course, there's also a need to even look at issues that have to do with staff strength, right? I think that's partly been why it's been, seemingly difficult to, wage an effective war against some of these anti-state, actors and things like that. At the moment, I think the staff strength of the entire, security, architecture is not more than 300 and something thousand. And I think that is grossly inadequate, especially if you go by the United Nations benchmark, and all of that. In a country of 200 million people or more than that, you can't have just 200,000 soldiers and expect that there will be no insecurity and all of that. I think there is a need to actually do something about it. And then maybe on a final note, the president will need to look at issues that have to do with even capacity building, training and retraining of staff, to bring them up to speed with innovations, because you can't even continue to adhere to a manual-based security approach. If you sort of digitalize it, introduce some technology into it, I think it could facilitate a lot of things.
Oh, thank you very much, Doro, for taking us on that ride. At this point, our viewer and of course our listener, it's about time we go on a short break. When we come back, the discussion continue. But at the other side of Unity Trend, this segment, of course, our guest is already seated. I'll introduce him when we come back. Stay tuned.
Mr. Politician, it's good to see you again. It's been so long since you've been here. You had me thinking you were dead. How's your taxpayer mansion? How was your...
Please pay attention. It starts from the foundation. Everybody needs somebody. Everybody needs some love. You turn a blind eye and care nothing less. Say it's just business, all about the money. You are so unbothered as long as they pay. Say it's just business, all about the money. You know they're on a fast lane, but you've got business to run. So you look away the other way. It concerns you. It kill love, it kill dreams. It land people for jail. War against drug abuse.
Mr. Politician, it's good to see you again. It's been so long since you've been here. You had me thinking you were dead.
For still staying tuned to Unity 93.3 FM and of course Unity TV, Beatrice Adamoishi remains my name, but if you go Kobe, I'll still be fine. Remember, Plateau cannot just be that the Plateau of our dreams without us coming together to make it becomes that Plateau of our dream. And there is just one thing that is always possible: peaceful coexistence. But that is so if we employ the means of changing ourselves by ourselves. And thank you so much for being there. And in the studio of Unity 93.3 FM, I would just want to let Doro to say good morning, and when he does that, I will go ahead to introduce our guest for today, with whom we'll be discussing issues. And so, Doro, why not you take over for a good morning?
Again, good morning to you. I mean, a second time. I love the suit. With the white shirt, it's a beautiful combination. Good morning, viewer and listener. Thank you for staying tuned. Again, happy Jum'ah. You're welcome.
Yes, of course, happy Jum'ah, and thank God it's Friday. With the recent presidential elections petition to cut judgments, Nigerians across the party affiliations are left with just one direction: patriotism for national interest, despite matters arising. We'll be discussing matters arising and what is expected of each and every one of us. Our guest, Honorable Mark Sunday Na, a young, vibrant politician and a philanthropist on the Plateau. talking about Plateau State, Nigeria, is seated in the studio, and together we'll be doing this. Honorable, good morning.
Thank you so much. Good morning.
Thank you. I'm sure our viewer will want to hear your voice like that young man, and maybe you need to, a little
bit louder.
Speak up because. Sure. Thank you very much, Honorable Mark Na, for honoring our invitation. Now, let's begin the discussion by just trying to see this. How would you expect Peter Obi and Atiku Abubakar, react to the judgment, which, of course, on Wednesday, took place?
Thank you so much for having me on this platform. Thank you. Good morning, listeners. Good morning, viewers. My name is Mark Sondina, a businessman, a social worker by profession, and of course a politician. First and foremost, I want to thank God for the long-awaited Judgment Day, which has come and passed. And first and foremost, we have to give God the glory for us to all witness that day. It has come and passed, yes. There are different reactions, but I want to say Nigerian first before any other reaction. And for us on the Plateau first. In line with this, permit me to commiserate with the families of those who lost their beloved ones in September 7th, 2001 crisis. For me, anytime September 7th comes in, it's key to people like us. It reminds us of the then time when we have Aminu, Haruna, Malam Haruna in Gadabi and all of that. And we can equally have the likes of Emeka, Kingsley, and Ngoro Goshagari.
Yes. We have the Chohu,
of course,
the Davo.
Of course. For me, I want to say we thank God for the relative peace we are now enjoying on the Plateau, despite some of the killings in some of the local government like Mangu, Barikenladi, Uriam. But of course, we want to really appreciate God for helping the security agencies curtail some of those menaces. And this is to say that for us on the Plateau, peace is key.
Peace is key.
Because without peace, we wouldn't have been here discussing any other issue. I wouldn't have even come to ZINARIYA Hills. Because it wouldn't have been possible.
Safe for you.
So peace is priceless. You cannot actually compare peace with any other
anything.
So for me, let's project peace on the Plateau as key for any other thing to follow suit. Talking about the judgment of the presidential election petition tribunal, the judgment has taken the dimension it has taken, and want to believe that it's in accordance with the law, because the judges actually didn't introduce a different law other than the Nigerian law in passing the judgment of over 10 hours, taking time to strike each and every issue that was presented. Of course, talking about the reactions of Mr. Obi and Atiku, both have reacted. They have accepted the judgment, which they feel the judgment has been passed, but justice have not really been passed. And the uniqueness of democracy allows you to take the next possible steps, which both of them have actually taken, address their supporters, that of course they are going to take the next step, which is appealing to the Supreme Court. And of course, at the Supreme Court, we intend to also have the further interpretation of the judgment that was passed at the lower court. So for me, I think both of them have reacted. The joyful part of it is that none of them is calling for crisis, which is peace is very important. And for listeners out there, I was discussing with the police officer, and he said they have to go around yesterday because they were scared. There were rumors that people will stage out a protest. And I want to say to the young people like me out there that we should be mindful of what we do, what we say. Nobody should just come and summon us for what we cannot really explain. And I was discussing with some young persons and I asked them, you're basically criticizing the judgment. Now if I should ask you what part of the judgment is not actually right, what would you tell me? Believe me, you'd have nothing to say. And these are people that flaunt the social media with all sort of messages that are not really true. Of course, the tribunal, as the judge, one of the judge says, they will not be intimidated by the social media write-ups and all of that. Of course, they have to pass the judgment based on the Constitution of Nigeria, which is supreme.
That's their job.
Of course.
Okay. So thank you very much, Honorable Macna. Now, you made mention of, youth, citizens, just going down, choosing the path of social media and then throwing on content that probably is not healthy for a society, especially like Plateau and of course Nigeria, where we intend to sustain the relative peace being enjoyed. Now, what would you advise that the youth should do before we dive into other issues that we have for today?
Social media is very powerful, most especially in our contemporary world today. It's key, and I can bet you that it's one of the fastest medium that messages are easily passed. Now, for the young people that are usually involved in passing messages in social media, can we take time to verify what are we actually sending? What is the source? Is this really true? For instance, on this same issue of Presidential Election Petition Tribunal, someone actually said on social media that one of the judges, because he was being forced to do what is not right, he decided to resign. And from the beginning, we had 5 judges. Until the end, we still have 5 judges. Where is that other one person coming from?
Had allegedly resigned.
Of course. So can we actually verify what we're actually passing out to other people? Because the moment I send out a message, somebody may not actually verify. He takes it like that, the way it is. So for the young people, I want to see that yes, the Lord has blessed us with technology, that we can easily share message, informations, vital informations. But let's have a way of verifying whatever we're sharing. How true is this information? And how beneficial will it be to our society? Because whatever I'm passing, if it is not really beneficial,
why am I passing it?
Why am I passing it? Just because I have data? Is it just because I have data? It goes beyond that.
Some would say even if the message is true, is factual, if it will have some way of instigating some kind of civil unrest.
Of course,
no need to spread it around.
Of course.
Okay, that is leading us to, you'll be telling us, what do you expect President Tinubu to do now that the judgment is over? What should be in his priority list?
For me, I don't think President Tinubu needs to do anything different from what he's currently doing.
Okay, you'll be telling us
because of course he was never carried away by the keys on ground, even before the judgment. You can still see him moving at peace. He sets from the one he will hit the ground running.
Has he done that?
Of course he has.
By removing fuel subsidy,
that is
Nigerians angry?
That is one. Obi said he was going to remove fuel subsidy. Atiku said he was going to remove fuel subsidy.
And also restructuring.
But of course, when Tinubu came, because definitely at a particular point in time, one person must become the president of Nigeria, whether we like it or not. Tinubu happens to be the president of Nigeria at the moment. And of course, he decided to take the decision of removing fuel subsidy.
The same thing Obi and Atiku
and
actually said they would if given the mandate.
So for me, he needs to be more focused. most especially in giving out marching orders
to his
on
lieutenants.
security issues, because this is one key factor that President Tinubu must give a special consideration. Because of course, the common man, just give him peace first. When the atmosphere is convenient for him to go out,
yes,
Nigerians, we can go out and fend for ourselves. So we need the atmosphere to be convenient for us to step out. Just the way I said,
our businesses.
if of course there wasn't the relative peace we're enjoying
You wouldn't be
here on the plateau, I wouldn't have been here.
in the
Even
studio.
if you tell me you're going to do this, you're going to give me security, I will tell you no.
Yes.
Of course. So the key factor is, of course, we need to see a way. He needs to see a way of strengthening the security architecture of Nigeria, and of course, we can then talk about the economic sector.
If it's in my mind in such a way that that reminds me of most of our callers on this platform would say Nigerians don't need much, don't expect much from the government. Just provide an enabling environment, and Nigerians can just take care of themselves. Doro?
Yeah, Honorable Sunday Matna, I once again thank you for coming. I appreciate your beautiful submissions on the other issues my colleague had raised. But let me just take you on this. Let me take you up on this. You did say that there's nothing President Tinubu has to do other than what he is already doing. But we are talking about a country that is a multicultural, and which also is divided sharply along ethnic and religious lines. What about the issue of national unity? What advice would you have for President Tinubu? How should he manage these differences, these affiliations, and all of that?
On this, I would rather go with Tinubu ideology of bringing people based on competence. I know a lot of people will say Tinubu have decided to bring in David Umahi, the likes of Wiki, into his cabinet simply because it is a rewarding system. But beyond that, you can talk about governors that have performed without mentioning this too. So he goes beyond just the issue of rewarding. And I want to tell you, Duro, to be honest, until we're able to deal with the issue of religion differences in this part of the world, we'll never get things right. I know we're not ripe for that now, but it's a gradual step. Someone must start it. And I want to bet you that, for me, Tinubu have started it.
How?
When he came on board, a lot of allegations was Muslim tickets. Some of us from the Christian faith. It was not really, we're not really okay with it. But he kept giving reasons as to why he needs to get this. And immediately he won the elections. You can actually look at the combination of his cabinet today. Unlike the previous administration, where you have almost all the security chiefs of the same faith.
And from a certain region.
Of course, and from a certain region. But look at the balancing today. Bringing out people he feels they can give him the best. And also trying to factor in what he was actually being accused of. Trying to bring in a balance. Whether we like it or not, when we go to the markets or when we go to the fuel station, we don't have Christians, we don't have Muslims, we don't have any other religion. All we have is customers and service attendants. You pay, nobody cares where you're coming from, nobody cares your religion. And from where I am coming from, as a social worker, my profession taught me that humanity before any other thing. Though if today I'm a Christian, it is something that people decide to change at any time. But for you as a human being, you can never change as a human being.
Definitely.
Even if you go through transgender
However you turn it, you are still a human being.
You can't actually metamorphose from a human to something else.
Of course.
Yes, even if you...
So we respect humanity first before any other thing. And if we can be able to trace that from the angle in which President Tinubu is coming from, you can actually see, yes, he's trying not to really give that a major consideration, but he's trying to strike in a balance.
Okay.
However, bringing people from different regions to factor in his cabinet, to make the decision alongside with him. And I want to say I'm giving Tinubu an applause to that. Factoring everybody from different ethnicity in a cabinet to work for Nigerians, I think is key for us. And we must appreciate that.
Yes.
It is actually just barely 100 days and we can actually say, yes, I know. For me, what usually fill in my tank back then, it's not the same amount.
It's probably twice that.
But the question, immediately the fuel subsidy was removed. And the way I saw other neighboring countries protesting even more than Nigerians, the question is, why were they protesting even more than the Nigerians? Why are you crying more than the bereaved? I think there are hidden issues that Nigerians are to know. And I pray somebody would dig it out to be able to inform Nigerians. Because, of course, we have had, even though not verified, that some of this subsidized fuel are being taken to neighboring countries
and sold at a
very subsidized rate, even cheaper than where it's coming from. So taking that step for me, I know gradually there will definitely be a balancing of the issue of fuel subsidy, because it's really, really biting hard on Nigerians. You can easily see a sales girl or a sales boy going from Rokoba Road to Terminus, earning 10,000 naira, and then in a day he's spending 500, 600 naira on transport. How much is he going to eat? By the time you calculate it by 30 or by 25, how much will he be left with?
Definitely.
I'm pretty sure with time there will definitely be some kind of adjustments to be able to cushion down the effect of the fuel subsidy.
Yes.
Okay. You've caught my attention when you said we are first of all human beings before whatever else we are in this life. Okay. Can you just you're a young politician and it's interesting. Can you tell us a little about the challenge you went through at the time of electioneering?
You actually did contest, for membership of the State Assembly to represent, just Northwest and all of that. And of course, I do know that, a significant part of that constituency is Muslim, right? And then again, a significant part of it is also Christian. And you're a Christian. Yeah, you did say something about, managing differences and things like that. You might want to also say something about, what happened, how your relationship has been, with both the Muslim and Christian part of the constituency and all of those issues. Okay,
bringing in everybody on board was the key. Talking about first the challenge, yes, I contested in the State House of Assembly to represent the good people of Just Northwest, which it was announced by INEC to be the PDP who won that elections. Even though we were in courts, which I want to strongly believe the Plateau people are aware. Talking about the challenges, as a young man, of course you expect the fact that the common saying, when did this little boy grow up? And that is one key factor. And when you talk about young people needs young representation, I want to appreciate the people of Just Northwest who really showed me love. I can really tell you that virtually everyone showed me love. But at some point, again, demonstrating the love into ballots. I also want to appreciate those who have really demonstrated that other aspect of love by casting their votes for me. We had the challenge, yes, very true, of saying APC have installed hardship from Nigeria down to Plateau and all of that.
Did that affect your chances?
Of course,
did it play a role?
Of course it does. I want to tell you that if you want to talk about the issue of propaganda, it's usually cooked. Permit me to use the word cooked in my own constituency. You know, the gubernatorial candidate of the APC, Dr. Ninta Oyewada, who happens to be my mentor, my boss, because in political game I have no any other bigger boss than him. He was accused by a different faith that another faith make an endorsement and he didn't come out to debunk it. And a lot of people keep calling, others come to us to say, why can't you advise him to come out and debunk it? And I said, does that sound as if that is politics to you? That is the social cohesion we're talking about. You must bring everybody on board. And I want to tell you, I appreciate what Dr. Nintawe did as a then. What he did was to continue with his campaigns and consultations.
Across board.
Across board. Neglecting what was told about him. Because he feels if those people, this is how they are going about it, they endorse. We have different platforms that endorse this person, the other platform endorse the other person. Have those other candidates come out also to debunk to the fact that this person have endorsed me, so therefore
this religion,
I am I'm free from that endorsement. So on the plateau, I want to say that one of the key things that played was that sentiment, which was raw on almost all of the candidates of the APC. However, striking the balance, some of us still, I have Garbado, Serkin Arab, Gangari, which is predominantly Muslims. And in all of those wards, I have coordinators. And in my directorates, all of these wards, I have representatives in my directorate, aside the coordinators, alongside with Tudung Wadakabo, Janta Damu, Tavabalia Vandapui, making it 7. But in all of this, I want to say that the election has come and gone. We're trying to learn from the challenges. What are the lessons learned? This is my first experience.
Yes.
And what are the challenges? What is the way forward? And I want to tell you, one of the way forward is currently what we're doing at the court. Yes.
So just like Atiku and Peter Obi, you thought that you only got, well, it wasn't the court, it was INEC, but just like Atiku and Peter Obi, you didn't accept the result. So you went to court.
The result announced by INEC, for us, even if we accept it, it doesn't stop us from challenging the results. We accept the judgment. Of course, the judgment has been passed. Whether you accept it or not, it has already been passed. So we want to see, we accept the judgment, but we did not accept the results. And there's one peculiar key factor that we're actually driving at, contending with in the courts against the PDP candidates. And probably, if time permits, we'll talk about that much more later. But talking about some of the challenges, a lot of people will say, Mark, you are this, you are that. The only thing that actually nailed you down was the party in which you came out from. Of course, I have no any other party than the APC.
Like people will say, a good candidate
in the wrong party.
In the wrong party,
But of course,
that affected you.
But of course, you see, in politics, one thing people don't seem to understand, and this part of the world, As an individual, you cannot stand and contest an election. You have to go through a political party. And in choosing a political party, you have to go to a political party that you think and you have assessed that you can actually get a headway. It's not just joining a political party. I can be in any other political party for years, but nobody will even hear that a young man is there because of probably the cabals and other factors. But of course, I feel in choosing this political party for a very long time, even when Buhari was coming on board, we did that carefully because we felt this political party is friendly to people like us. We can actually have our voices heard, which of course, I want to tell you, if I have gone to probably one of the big short parties, I wouldn't have picked the ticket that I've picked. Of course, APC is not a small party, the largest party in Africa. But I feel it was friendly to me than any other political party. So you go in politics, you don't just jump into a party simply because you just want to contest. But you have to calculate how far, what can be my benefits, how far can I be able to go. I want to tell you that since 1999, there are people that have joined politics far way longer period than I did. But today, I can tell you confidently that my voice
is louder than theirs.
Is louder than yes.
All right. Okay.
And that is what politics is all about. It's not a bedroom thing. So in making some of those decisions, people said it's a platform, and I want to say that the content matters than probably one of my friends would say, than the container. I want to strongly believe some of us came on board, not because we knew that people were not angry and all of that, most especially with the killings as at then. I know people were bitter, but we felt people should be able to go beyond
just the political
party sentiments and go for the right candidates. That also was one of the challenges. And I want to tell you again that one of the key factors that actually played was the fact that I'm a young person. And a lot of people were thinking, I have contested this position. Categorically, one of the current commissioner of the present governor, said something in my community. He said, I contested for local government chairman. I didn't get. When is this? Where is he coming from? It's all of those factors actually played out. And then with one of the key factors of tribal sentiments also played a very key role during the elections.
Honorable, it's 9 o'clock and we'll continue after a while. Our viewer and our listener, it's time for us to go on a very short break. The discussion today is very interesting, and so I beg that you stay tuned because we would get to that segment with which you also would be a part of the conversation. Stay tuned.
Mr. Politician, it's good to see you again. It's been so long since you've been here. You had me thinking you were dead. How's your taxpayer mansion? How was Unity TV? Unity. Mr. Politician, it's good to see you again.
So what's this morning, knowing fully well that we've been discussing issues that has to do with national interest and national unity and all that. And in the studio this morning is Honorable Sunday Mark Na, a young, vibrant politician on the Plateau. I'm talking about Plateau State, Nigeria. Those of you watching us far away other countries, of course, Plateau State, Nigeria, home of peace and tourism. He has been emphasizing on the need for us to sustain the relative peace being enjoyed on the Plateau. And that is our position on Unity 93.3 FM. And again, in the studio, it has been Mr. Shaibu Udoro, an in-house analyst and a political scientist. And so the conversation continues now, but that will never be without you. And so if you want to be a part of it, you can call us on 070-3235-3315. And when you call, just tell us your name and where you are calling us from. Go ahead in a minute or thereabouts and give us your inputs. Is it a question? Is it a contributions? Whatever it is that is good for national unity, we will be glad to have it from you. And those of you who want to go live with us on Facebook, YouTube, you just go Unity Radio FM/TV Jaws. And of course, again, don't forget any comments made on this platform and not in any way the position of Unity 93.3 FM. If you don't mind, you can take advantage of our wide broadcast and you place your adverts or promote your events or even goods and services. If you want to do that, just call me on 0808-478-9999 to promote your goods and services. The discussion continues now. Mr. Mark, we begin to receive our calls now, and we let you respond. You were actually talking about challenges. If you can just go very brief on that before we receive the first call.
Of course, yeah. Talking about challenges, I know that is. I did mention the issue of tribal sentiments, which for me we should go for credibility, rather than looking at some of those factors. Where is he coming from and all of that. Sponsorship, how some of us are able to sponsor our campaigns and all of that,
which is normally expensive.
Of course, it's really the grace of God. And picking the form, which costs almost about 2-point-something million, to the campaigns and all of that. It's not as if there is a special funding somewhere for you to actually pick on.
And there are no trees from which to pluck money.
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Honorable, please.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning. Who is on the line this morning?
Yeah, thank you very much. My name is Sadiq Umar, calling from TT&T Junction.
Sadiq Umar, it's good to have you. You have.
Yes, I want to commend your guest. God bless him. He has spoken well. And actually, it is a very, very unfortunate issue that the kind of leadership we find ourselves within the past 8 years and within this step, especially under this APC. You see, it's not that somebody like me, I'm against the subsidy, but if a government is trying to subsidize an issue that affects the people like this, it's supposed to have the program that will make sure that it's a palliative. We have seen this during Goodluck Jonathan when we subsidized it. Everybody in Plateau State has felt the impact of that subsidy. We have seen all the cars that have been. We have seen a lot of programs on the ground.
All right.
But under this administration, since the subsidizing of this fuel, we are getting issue with the NLC. NLC has just playing with Nigeria. There is nothing that everything has been increased. So we don't know where the government have taken the impact. We do not see any program of refineries are working.
Thank you.
Let me tell you, all under this military, we find all this thing working. That's when Nigeria is working.
Thank
That's
you.
when we our refineries are working. That's when people have free education. That's when. So any policy that is not affecting the people, that's what happened during
thank you very much.
Last regime. It's all about promises, and it has ended in promises. And there is not any impact to the people. I think
Thank
the
you very
government
much.
is supposed
You've
to
made
give
your
a policy
point.
that will reach the people, not to come on radio and make a promises that not the supposed to reach and divert the
Thank you very much.
We appreciate.
We appreciate. He is our first caller, and of course, somehow our first callers usually have some of those privileges.
Time,
yes, yes. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Kuzi.
Thank you very much, and I say amen to that.
Good morning.
This is Adewumi calling from Bauchi Road.
It's good to have you after a while.
I greet your guest too in the studio.
Thank you. He answers.
God continue to bless you.
Amen to that.
You see, my take is this.
Yes.
In this nation, let's emulate the spirit of good luck Jonathan.
Okay.
Who can even congratulate a president without even looking at every other thing about INEC or any other thing. His term is his presidential ambition is not worth the blood of a single Nigerian. I think if Peter Obi and Atiku can channel the money they want to go to Supreme Court to Nigerians who are suffering, because they also are in line with the subsidy removal and they know what Nigerians are passing through. So let them just go by the standard when they speak for unity and national development.
Thank you.
Because that's just the only thing we needed in this nation. And notwithstanding, please, I want to say this: let's always unite ourselves to move Nigeria forward. And the president should not forget that since the court has reaffirmed him as the president of this nation, Nigerians are passing through a lot.
Thank you.
And the palliative they promised us are not coming the way we are seeing them. So at least they should help us to put on the effect of this subsidy removal so that Nigeria will still be happy and at least the administration will move forward.
Thank you very much, Adewumi.
I pray for help us in this nation. Thank you and God bless.
Thank you very much. SMS, this one said, good morning, Kubi, Doro, and the guest in the house. For me, I still have confidence in Tinubu that Nigeria will be better in his government, like I have in my government, my governor, who is really doing in Bauchi, Peter Bala from Gumau. Thank you, Peter Bala, for sending in your SMS there. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Boro, and the guest in the house.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
This is Yakubu Sale calling from Zaria Road.
Yakubu, it's been a while. You're welcome.
Honestly, thank you so much.
Yes, you have a minute.
And I'm so happy for the attitude of Nigerians because the way they remain calm in this this election was passing.
Yes.
So I want to advise even those governors that we are waiting for their own judgment, please. We should remain calm. We should take peace as a priority. That is number one. Without peace, nothing will exist. And I want to advise those people that have been going to court. If you know that you contested and you failed election, please and please, don't be taking that money to be given to the lawyers, to be given to the defense. We are the economy is not smiling. Why can't you use that money to even cushion the hardship of the situation so that at least the poor people, the masses will be praying for you and God will answer their prayer.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You really know that this is what happened and you continue taking your money, going from this court to the other one to the Supreme Court. By the end of it, you don't realize that you wasted your resources.
Thank you very much,
nobody will pray for you.
Yakubu, we appreciate.
So thank you so much. God bless you. And God bless the guests. Honestly, we have spoken very well and we need patriotic Nigerians like that. Thank you so much. God bless.
Thank you very much. Yakubu and Adewumi are tilting towards the same directions. Why not use these monies, for appealing, to just help Nigerians who are the poor. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Thank you.
This is Kingsley Barnabas calling from Terminus.
Now
who the do of the call?
All right, you're welcome.
Thank you, sir. I want to ask a question for your guest. I want to ask a fundamental question.
Please go on.
Your guests have said that 100 days in notice that you get patients. Are we going to get patients until all my people in Plateau here will die, in Nigeria will die before Tinubu will now know what he's going to do to Nigeria people for the fuel subsidy? Because on Thursday here, a young man came out of his place from Terminus. He came and sat down in chair, started shouting, among the From hungry, the guy started vomiting. From throwing, what the guy did is he just give up, die on top of that table there. Based on where he's shouting hungry. So I don't don't know why your guy is saying that we should give him, especially 100 days is not enough for him to start sitting. That is preparing Nigeria for us.
Thank you.
People are dying hungry, so we should get patience. How long are we going to get the patience? Is it all of us will die before we get the patience in the grave? That's my question. Thank you. God bless you and bless our country, Nigeria.
Amen. Now, who they do us until we all die? Yes, but the need to be patient has been said. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Kulbi.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Doro. My name is Chief Ambassador Abdullah Rokiboy, calling from Denver.
You're welcome, Abdullah Rokiboy.
Yeah, Honorable Mazan Amana, you are welcome to the studio.
Thank you so much, Rokiboy.
And you said a lot of Nigeria and the politics. No need for somebody to be asking you for how long and how this, how that. We are into this thing together. And you did not do any bias on the way you explain things to people. And some people are saying that this Oga or this honorable, he wants us to say, oh, no, he is not the one. He is saying the fact. He is saying what is happening in Nigeria.
Okay.
Irrespective of his political party affiliation. He says it the way it is.
Okay.
So no need for us to be blaming him.
Okay.
May Almighty Allah guide us and see us through. May Almighty Allah guide our leaders to do the needful for the people of Nigeria.
Amen.
Because we are suffering, minds are dying.
Thank
So
you.
he is not biased on his topic. God bless you, Honorable Mazan Amana.
Thank you very much.
Rokiboy.
Thank you very much, Abdullah Rokiboy. Good morning, it could be Mr. Doro and Honorable Mark Kana. Kudos to the Horn. He is one of the youngest politicians who affected his community positively. He actually got me emotional at the beginning when he reminded us of how just used to be compared to now. I remember with nostalgia those days when we used to celebrate both Salah and Christmas together with our Muslim brothers and sisters. Honestly, each time we begin to respect, tolerate one another irrespective of ethnic, religious, and political affiliation so as to have peace and development in our country. Jumad Kareem to my Muslim brothers and sisters, peace is priceless. Let's live in peace. God bless Unity FM and Nigeria. Christy Izang from Rukubarod. Christy Izang, thank you so much for your message there. I think we begin to visit the Facebook platform at this moment.
Okay, yeah. We have Ismail Isa. He says, good morning, Unity crew and your guest. Honestly, Nigerian politics is so hilarious because playing politics, criticizing one another cannot solve the problems on ground. It says, yeah, it cannot solve the problems on ground. Perhaps we are wise enough to come together in building a nation to achieve our common goals if really we sincerely love the country and rule for the benefit of the masses. Also, insecurity is the biggest headache for Nigeria. So help us God. Thank you. Then we have King Abdul. He says, good morning, Unity FM and TV. Murtalaya Hayame Igia is saying, good morning to you all. Could be happy Jumat Mubarak. God bless Nigeria. Have a great day. Usman Ibrahim is saying, good morning, Unity FM. And then Abdullah Hirokiboy, who just called, he says, good morning, Honorable Mark Sunday Na'a Dan Amana. You're speaking very well. Keep doing the needful. You have said it all. These are the few we have for now.
Okay, thank you. We just pick one or more and then we'll let you respond to all of this. Hello, good morning.
Yes.
Hello, good morning.
Yes.
Yes, we can hear you. You are on. Hello, good morning. Okay, you may need to call us back on 0703-235-3315, and that's the line to join us on. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Kulbi.
Been so long since you've been here. You had me thinking you were dead. How's your taxpayer mansion? How was your...
Please pay attention. It starts from the foundation. Everybody needs somebody. You turn a blind eye and cannot think.
To have you. Who's on the line, by the way?
Yeah. Good morning. My name is Comrade Masu Patrick Okorograph. I'm calling from OGC and
Thank you very much.
Thank God today the Catholic Church celebrates the Nativity of the Blessed Virgin Mary, the birth of the Virgin Mary.
Oh, that's great.
We have the Blessed Mary to intercede for us Nigerians, at least for peace.
Thank you very much.
For harmony, for tranquility in our country, not only Plateau, the whole Nigeria, the whole world.
Okay.
But as a Nigerian, if you don't have peace, you cannot have peace. Peace starts from your own home. And that is before it gets to other people and gets to other government. Where there is peace, there is improvement. You see progress. You go and sleep and be snoring. You see your neighbor with one problem, you are assist. Even today, to the world is celebrating Society Day. Now, you see a lot of people, when they fail the exam, you see they are defeated or they are not, there's no hope for them. They will think of committing suicide, which is not ready. And parents should do as much as possible and take care of such people. Because even the children themselves, at least, when you fail it, there's nobody in this world you see that at the top that will not tell you didn't pass any stage. We from the East now, we saw what happened about the Civil War. At least during that time, I was in primary school. I saw people, we know what happened. But what do? We say, go Bible, no, we move ahead. So you have to think positively. Parents, please do not abandon your children. Do not survey the problem, assist them. Good morning.
Mr. Okoro, before you leave us, Mr. Okoro, before you leave us, please. Before you leave us, are you there? Oh, mine, he's gone already. You know, as an educationist, I wanted him to just give him that opportunity to make a call, okay, as regards to, you know, where children are resuming school, probably on Monday, from Monday. And so, well, back to you, Honorable Mark Dan Amana. So you respond in some 5 or thereabout minutes so that we can...
Thank you so much, Kobe. First, I want to start by responding this way. One of the callers actually said, can we have a program by President Tinubu to cushion down the effects of the fuel subsidy removal?
Yes.
So far, I think a kind of palliative have been sent to every state. For us here on the plateau, I think this should be a topic for a whole day. What came to plateau? What happened to it? Who and who benefited from what was given to plateau? I think if you invite me for the next phase of the program, I think we should be able to discuss that. Probably alongside with one of the person in the current government.
Yes.
Talking about the issue of having the Obi, Mr. Obi, and of course Atiku Abubakar to
channel their money
or to let go
spending on court cases.
This is just a personal opinion that the callers are actually saying, but it is actually within the constitutional rights of every candidate to seek redress where he feels he has issue, first with the judgment that has been passed by the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal. The next step is to go to a Supreme Court, which both Atiku and Obi have rightly said they will move on to election. This is their constitutional right. So we can only say this as our own personal opinions. But so far, they are not doing anything illegal. I don't see anything wrong with it. Coming down to Plateau, of course, almost all the candidates of the State House of Assembly, House of Reps, Senate, and that of our leader, Dr. Nintawe Yilwada, were all in court because we felt there is a court injunction that the PDP have not respected. I want to take it up on that. Of course we have. Even though in one of the courts, judgment have started coming out by pronouncing some of the judgments. But from the court where I'm coming from and the other side, I think we have 3 different set of judges. And one set of the judges have started passing their judgments. We're so hopeful that something good will come out. This is within the constitutional right of every candidate.
Okay. And we might be bringing on board, we might be inviting some people from the opposition party to, put this whole issue in proper perspective alongside you, if you're available, and all of that.
That will be fine. And of course, talking about congratulating President Tinubu. Congratulations is not stopping Tinubu from working.
Okay.
Yes, it didn't stop him from giving every state 5 billion naira. And again, I ask the question, where is the 5 billion naira for Plateau? Because it was meant to serve as part of the palliative. Who benefited? In the whole of my community, I can't say one person have benefited. And in neighboring communities, I can actually say this is one beneficiary that I know have benefited. So I think there are more. You send in some funds and then they are not used. Of course, the blame still go back to the national.
Definitely.
Because the common man here assumes nothing has dropped to the states.
There should be some sort of evaluation.
Of course. And I really want to appreciate those who have actually aligned with me in saying, let's give peace a chance for us, whether we like it or not. Whether you're in PDP, whether in APC, whether in ABGA, whether in Labour, whatever party you belong, if there is no peace, where you are now, I'm very sure, if you're out of your house, then it is because of the relative peace we're both enjoying today. So without the peace, probably you will have been indoors.
So that's your final words on peace, Honorable Mark?
Of course, on peace, I just want to say it is non-negotiable to all citizens of Plateau. And I also want to plead with the security chiefs here on the Plateau. We still have the Plateau people being killed in Riom, Barkin-Ladi, and possibly part of Mango. That we appreciate what they're doing so far, but we want them to step up to curtail in totality the killing of the Plateau citizens. Whether you are Igbo, whether you are from Katina, whether you are Biron, whether you are Inugu, wherever. As far as you are in Plateau now, you have no any other better place than Plateau. So Plateau is ours. We have a collective responsibility of protecting the image of Plateau.
Thank you very much. Your final, we have just a minute, Aduro.
Well, I would also just add to what the Honorable has actually said about peaceful coexistence. At the end of it all, it's non-negotiable, and there's no alternative to it. This is it. And of course, people are talking about palliatives, and of course the difficulties and hardships occasioned by fuel subsidy removal and all of that. I think that is more than enough on our plates, to worry about. We can't be going about engaging each other in unnecessary violence when, of course, we have, other issues to contend with. God bless Plateau.
Thank you. Thank you very much for being with us. This is the last edition of Unity Trade for this week. On Monday, we'll come back on the same platform, same time, same station for another interesting edition. Peace is non-negotiable. Do your best to sustain the relative peace being enjoyed on the Plateau. From me, Petrus Ademoyiji, I say bye-bye. See you at the other end of the broadcast. Bye-bye.
Mr. Politician, it's good to see you again. It's been so long since you've been here. You had me thinking you were dead. How's your taxpayer mansion?